Okay, good morning, everybody, and let's start my session for this week. I just went through the Teams chat conversation that you had yesterday. Let's see if there was something I should comment. We don't have an exam, only these model exercises in data analysis and data storage. And you should get at least half of the points available to pass. It doesn't matter if you do the essays or more technically oriented programming tasks. It seems that there are very students with very varying skill levels. So some of you can program in very high level and have done all the Python exercises with ease, and some of you have even maybe you don't. Some of you don't have time to do all those things that are required. And and there are also students from outside of our school and exchange students coming from different backgrounds. So it was quite hard to try to make the course so that everyone can pass and learn something. So if you think that some of the exercises are too hard, then just skip those. And if you want to comment, you are welcome to interrupt me at any time. It would have been nice to have some kind of hands-on project, because now it's me and Teemu are doing our own things and they don't match always. But it's not possible now to have a complete IoT project with this situation we are in. So this is sort of a compromise in that sense. Okay, today I'm not going to lecture any theory, but I think I just quickly go and explain that week 2 MySQL if you have problems. And then we go in data analysis section, we go to Pandas, and I go through some tutorial there. In next week, we will go in more theoretical things again, but it's not very useful to go very far ahead of the exercises. So MySQL may or may not be a problem. How many of you haven't studied MySQL? You can write in the chat window. Okay, now I can't see the chat, can I? Yeah. I think, yes. maybe you all have. I know that Din 18 has studied, but other people from other universities. At least not in present. So if someone has problems with the LAMP server, then you can skip it and you can do these basic command exercises. Most of them, at least, with if you just do a local install of MySQL and MySQL workbench. And and if you need a unique server, then I have also a running virtual server, and I can make an account for you in which you can do these MySQL and MongoDB exercises. So if you would like to have an account there, please email or write in the Teams chat. I know that you have your own virtual servers also in Teemu's courses, so of course you can use those if they are working. So I'll ask this way: do you have had any problems with these? Sorry, basic commands exercises? Should I give a brief overview of those, or is it just that everyone knows how to do? Okay, maybe it's a good idea. So I now I'm starting from that point that I have a working MySQL installation. In here. And I have a test account. So databases, I can see what databases I have. I have set up this system for another dedicated database course. So those employees and Sakila are large databases from testing purposes. Use MyDB. So tables. Okay, there is the countries table already. Okay, I'm not. Okay, let's let that be there because I already did it. Just in case something goes wrong. Okay, write an SQL statement to create a simple table. I will just go through these first few tasks so you can start. So it's can you see now? It's very create table countries. You notice that this first task you don't have to define this as a primary key because the task 3 says that write an SQL statement to insert records into table countries to ensure that the country ID column will not contain any duplicate data, and this will be automatically incremented. So this, as you know, when you already have studied databases, this is exactly the definition of the primary key. So let's don't do it yet. So here we are, country ID, country name, region ID, decimal 10, no. What? There is some comma. What? Now someone could say me what's wrong. Yeah, okay, it already exists. There's still an error. How is it possible? Demo effect. There is a yeah, yeah, that's right. Now I can use describe. And then we can add something, insert into countries, to values. Now, as it isn't a primary key, you should give it a integer value. I don't know the region ID, what they mean, but now if you do the select from countries to then we see that we have inserted data. So now the command for we should alter table in part 3. It's alter table countries to modify column country ID in primary key auto increment. Is it okay? Yes, it seems to be. And now if we do the describe command, you see that now this country ID is the primary key. And if we insert another country, use the null here and then Sweden, and I don't know what it's, I don't remember what it is in real life. Let's put something over there. palm trees. Okay. I'm starting to be already very tired. This is the third week, but I have done quite long days recently. Now, and this, of course, the auto increment automatically increases the ID. But I'm not going to go through all the answers, of course, here. Then about the next one was the ER diagrams. I guess you have used the MySQL workbench before. There are some caveats with if you haven't connected. Now I don't know your database course. Have you connected with an SSH tunnel to the database? So maybe I explain that one because it may be a problem. When you try to connect the workbench from your home computer to the Teemu's virtual servers. For example, if you have used the students server, it doesn't. I think it doesn't require the VPN or SSH tunnel. I don't know exactly. Anyway, I will show. So when you create the connection, you select this standard TCP IP over SSH. Then you rename the connection. And I have the virtual server named databases. The host name, okay, it's very small. I can make it bigger. Sorry, I learned this yesterday. Another database course. The students say that the font is too small. Wait, what happened? Okay, it's not working now. I write it first and then I zoom. Now SSH hostname is this virtual server. Then you need a username in that server and password you can store in here. MySQL hostname is localhost because then you are using the SSH tunnel into the MySQL server. And now it should work. Okay, now it first says this, but maybe when I try again, it gives the successful MySQL connection the next time you try it. And now I can start this editor. Okay, maybe I should. Okay, I now zoom this. Larger. Is this familiar to you? Have you done this before. Where are you silent? Okay. So it's very familiar to you. Maybe I don't even have to. Okay, I'll just show it because there may be people who are not familiar. So you can write the commands here. Yes, that's right, because there are Erasmus students and exchange students present, so I have to go through these. But those of you who are familiar with this, so just relax. wait some time. That's what I said in the beginning, that I can't assume that everyone knows everything. And that's why there are quite familiar exercises for Dean 18 students. So now if I want to get the tables I have in the server, I can use this database reverse engineer. For example, if I want those MyDB database data, what I have there, I have some test table, and now I have two countries tables here. And if I want to, for example, make three tables with some connections, then I can use these relations to connect the tables. I'm not going through the relationship relationship theory here. I just saw this. If you want three tables connected, you can do it like this, and then you can forward engineer those tables to the server. If you want to, if you have already some these tables in the server and you want to replace them, then you should put this drop object before its create object, so it deletes those first, and then these tables are on the server now, and you can edit these. Or add here new column. Something new. And PK primary key not null unique binary unsigned zero field auto increment. See, I don't know exactly what that is. So that's basically the workflow for my SQL workbench. I think I'm not going to spend more time with this. If there are exchange or other students who don't know how to use the system, then please send email so we can have another or private session. Now for the next week, is the MongoDB familiar to you? Have you used it? Okay. So maybe next week we have to dig a little deeper with this. Yeah. Then about the data analysis, week 2 is quite clear. There are some essay questions which I'm intending to. It was my intention that those are a bit easier to answer. So even those of you who may have some problems with the programming exercises can gather points. So I don't think I'm going to go through those. Just about this Anaconda and Jupyter notebook, it is a quite nice system. I like it. Wait. So when you install the Anaconda Navigator, you have quite a lot of useful applications here. And you can start the Jupyter notebook here. The nice thing here is that when you install this Anaconda, then you have all the needed software, all the libraries like NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, such things work from the scratch. If you do your own installation by hand, then you should install all these statistical and mathematical libraries by hand. And at least I had some problems with those. I think it's related to the path in the command prompt. So all the commands were not in the path, and then it was quite inconvenient to hunt those missing paths. You can live without that also. There are also online version of this Jupyter notebook, and you can get it working with the Visual Studio Code. There is a Python extension. But I bumped into some problem with that last week. I don't remember which one. I think it was with these library parts. exactly. Little baby Sean is exactly correct. It has everything. The Anaconda has everything, including the kitchen sink, as they say. So, and we need just a small part of it, but it is guaranteed to work. Everything is guaranteed to work because it really has everything already. When you do the installation by hand, then you must install all the necessary bells and whistles by yourself. So here is the Pandas exercises I have already. Wait. Maybe I just go through this introduction a bit. This was really nice. You can find a lot of material about Pandas. So it was more or less like the abundance problem about this. So if you click here, you get all the stuff in this article in GitHub. And I know that everyone, at least in our school, know how to use GitHub. And I just wait, I saw it over there. When you do the clone or git clone, then you have quite a lot of stuff here. And in this directory is this Python Pandas tutorial, a complete introduction to beginners. And you just click on the notebook. Then you have all the data here ready in the same directory. And this, I like this notebook format because there is this all the explanatory text and the commands very nicely embedded into one package. So it's very easy to read. And I think I'm not going to read through everything about here. Just to show how easy it is, then you can just run those commands. Here it is explained what the Pandas data frame is. So it is a combination of columns. Here is a raw Python data in two-dimensional data. Let's run it, and then here it is combined into a data frame. So you see these apples and oranges go to the column headers, and then you have these numbers here. So it's quite convenient. And you can run this step by step, and of course you can change these values also. If I want to, for example, I can put my own name if I want to change this there. The system can read in data from the CSV or JSON file or from a database. And this, as you saw here, those files are included if you clone the GitHub repo. So you don't have to hassle with the problems that where is the data file, where can I find it? Just clone the repo and you have everything. CSV, as we all know, is comma separated values, so it's very simple format. And JSON is, I think, is also familiar to you. There are these data value pairs. It is used very extensively almost everywhere nowadays, as you very well know, even better than I do. So it's really convenient that this system can read all those. I skipped the SQL database here because we don't have the database in the directory. Then this tutorial goes through the data frame operations, and there is a large movie database here, which can be loaded, and then you can view the results. What is there? And of course, these things applies to almost any kind of CSV data. There are really very many places nowadays where you can get the open data, either in CSV or JSON formats. Maybe the most famous or popular is the Kaggle. I just show you in this. Wait, there. No. Okay, I take some of these. Go away. There's now the just those of you who don't know, this Kaggle is also used in Jupyter Notebook, and it has competitions and very large collection of public datasets and notebooks that uses these datasets. So please take a look. For example, there are short hands-on challenges on Pandas, for example. You can hone your skills because, as you understand, in this course we can't go through everything. This is so large, such a large field, and when we have to start from the very basics. But if you are interested in machine learning, I recommend this site. It's really nice. But again, let's go back to the Pandas exercise. You can have this movie database, then you can see the first 5 lines with the head command, and if you put some number there, then it changes and shows you 10 first. Also tail shows you the last 2. Poor old Kevin Spacey there. And there is info command and so on. I'm not going through everything here because I think this is really self-study material. Do you have any questions, comments at this point? If you think that, please comment if you think that if these parts are too easy or too hard. I can also make a anonymous questionnaire if you like. Very silent. Maybe I do the questionnaire so you can answer anonymously. So these are for the next week, but if you have time, it would be maybe a good idea to start doing those already. And then there's another Pandas tutorial here, and it has another Jupyter notebook file for the demo assignments, which you should. So this is like sort of an exam. You have these blank spaces here where you can fill in your code and then send this notebook to Moodle. Okay, this was quite a short lecture this week. I think next week we will have a longer session. But I think we stop here today. But I'm remaining in Zoom if you have any questions. Okay, thank you very much and see you next week.